Hey guys, it's Jamie bringing you another episode of Recovery Inspired Hope. I am so excited today. I have a guest all the way from Long Island, New York. Her name is Tracey Lewis. I'm so excited for her to share her experience, strength, and hope with you today. She runs out of a very special ministry that we have here in Georgia, but I believe it's just a lot more prominent where she is at. So I'm so excited for her to tell us all about that and talk about her pathway and her journey. Make sure you guys subscribe to Jamie Tall on YouTube. And so this series is the next one in Strong Women in Recovery. So Tracey, I found her, believe it or not, on Facebook. When I started following her ministry, I was like, wow, just this woman of God is so anointed and so powerful and has such a powerful testimony. So I want her to go ahead. Tracey, go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Tracey, and I'm originally from the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. And I'm a preacher kid and born and raised in the church. And it wasn't until I turned 34 that I had major surgery and I got introduced to Percocets. And I ran crazy with them for about 13 years, for about 12 years. And then the last 2 years of my addiction, I switched from the pills and started doing heroin. And that was just like a downward spiral. When I tell you I lost everything, and every time I share my story, it just brings tears to my eyes of just visualizing exactly how much I literally lost. But granted, those were like relationships and those were things. But here it is, July 20th, 2018, I decided that I was just tired. I was at my ends wits, and like I was just ready to give up. I was on the verge of committing suicide, and suicide was in the forefront of I'm about to cry just thinking about this. Because suicide was on the forefront of my mind the entire time. I no longer wanted to live. Like, I destroyed so many relationships, and mainly the ones that was just like closest to my heart was with my children. I have 3 children, and like I ran them, but they stuck right there by my side the entire time. And it wasn't until I was at my ends wit, and I'm like, I don't have anything. What more do I have to lose? And even in the midst of me on the verge of committing suicide, because I had went out and I had got some dope, and it was bad dope, and like I wanted to really, really like end it all. And I heard the Spirit say to me that, Tracey, what the enemy meant for evil, I'm going to utilize it for my good. And he just told me, like, I just need you to trust me. No, you may not understand it right now, but eventually you will understand it. So on July 20th, 2018, I went into a faith-based program. And I never even knew the faith-based programs even existed. Nothing against NA or NA or, AA, but it just didn't work for me. And I'm, sharing my story. It didn't work for me. But it was just that one piece, which was the love of Christ, that I was missing, because I was in and out of so many different rehabs, so many different programs. But it wasn't until I went into this faith-based program. And here it is 2 years later. 2 years later, God has restored relationships in my life, and mainly with my children, my grandchildren. And not only did he restore the relationship with them, he restored me. And, that's the most important thing of you having, allowing God to restore you physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, like, and most spiritually, most of all, like in all areas of my life, he literally restored me. And never would I have ever imagined my life to be the way that it is now. And, I'm a strong believer, as long as I continue to be in his will and remain in his will, the impossible is possible. it is. The impossible is most definitely possible when it comes to Christ. But I'm just amazed by, he blows my mind time and time and time again. Because I was one of the ones that was homeless. I was one of the ones that was eating out of trash cans. I was one of the ones that was sleeping in abandoned houses. I was one of the ones that was sleeping underneath bridges. And like, yes, I was one of them. But now when I look at, what all has transpired in my life, and it's only been 2 years, so I can only imagine, as long as I continue to do his will, that everything is going to line up on my behalf. And to be able to work in this ministry is Long Island Adult and Teen Challenge. And like, we have Teen Challenge ministries all over the United States, all over the country. But to be able, it's an honor to literally work within this ministry, to be able to help someone else to get either where I am or beyond where I am. And then just being able to get that firsthand experience. I tell people all the time, as crazy as it may sound, but my entire 14 years of addiction was an assignment from God. It was an assignment so I can get that wisdom, get that knowledge, get that understanding to be able to help someone else and to work on the front line, on the front line. And it's just, I can go on and on. It's just so amazing as to my life being transformed. And if he did it for me, my thing I always share with people, if he did it for me, he can do it for you too. He can do it for that loved one. He can do it for that mother. He can do it for that son, that daughter. Because it was times where I know where my family like, oh no, this is just impossible. But now here I stand 2 years later that it is possible. And that gives them hope too. Yes, it's amazing.
And your
He blows my mind.
Your passion is outreach, correct?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. I want to be able, and I am going to be able, I want to go to the streets. I want to go outside the four walls, because we can stay in the four walls and do it from the telephone and everything. And like, with COVID and everything that's going on, I even been praying, asking God to be able to show my compassion through my voice. And, but my main heart, my heart and my goal is to literally go out into the streets. I want to go back to, that Philadelphia area where I used to hang out. I want to go back to that Camden, New Jersey area, where I used to hang out. And I am, the weekend of my birthday, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put out some awareness, and we're going to feed them, and we're going to pass out some self-care stuff to them, because they did it for me. So it's only right. I can't sit on this. I can't. I got to go into the prisons. I got to go into all of that. I really, truly do. That's my passion, to go outside the four walls and win souls for the kingdom, because they can see it firsthand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's boots on the ground ministry.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Now, do you guys have in New York, do you have harm reduction? Do you guys give out Narcan, or have a clean syringe exchange or anything like that?
See, that's my heart. That's my own private ministry that I want to do. I want to, in the process, I just got finished writing a book, and the profits from the book is going to go into a nonprofit organization called Open Arms. And with the Open Arms, we're going to go out and feed the home. We're going to go out and feed them. I want to, with the self-care, I want to give out Narcan, not to basically condone the addiction, but to help them with self-care, because I've seen plenty of times. I wasn't one that shot in the vein. I always did it, intervene through my nose, keeping it real.
Yeah.
I've seen time and time again where people, trading off needles, and they're sitting there, using dirty needles over and over and over again. But if I can even help in that area, whereas though, the store can, so that they can have it on hand, fresh needles. And like I said, not to condone it, but just to help in that area. because it helped me. It
Right.
did. I can
Absolutely.
remember, overdosing, and if it wasn't for this one young lady that gave me the Norcan, like I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
So and that,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I want to do as far as self-care and like, yeah.
That is awesome. I always say, dead people can't receive recovery. So,
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
Hmm.
If I can just get out there any means necessary. And a lot of people say, how did you get all the way to New York from Philadelphia? And I said, you know what? I had to get up from around my surroundings. I was familiar with New York. I mean, I was familiar with Philadelphia area. I was familiar with the New Jersey area. So it took me to come all the way out to New York where I didn't know anybody. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anything at all. And here I am still 2 years later.
Yes, yes. Well,
How did
I can imagine all the people you can help. I can so hear and see your passion that you have for, saving people through your message. So how did
yeah,
your book come about?
it wasn't until I was like in my 3rd month of recovery and I had this mentor and she gave me a journal and she said to me, you need to write. So I said, okay. So here it was, like almost a year later, I was cleaning out my closet and I had about like 7 or 8 journals spread across my bed. And the spirit spoke to me and said, a book. And I'm like, oh my,
Wow.
I remember I love to read, and I can remember people saying to me, one day you're going to be reading your own book. I didn't think anything of it. So my publisher, she's like my godchild, and like she used to write, and I used to look at her writing and told her that you need to write a book. So here it is. She's a national best-selling author. She has her own publishing company and everything. I went home this past Christmas, and she said to me, do you want to write a book? And I said, it's funny you said that because God had just said to me my journals was going to be a book. And it wasn't until all of the COVID happened where we shut everything down and God told me to begin writing. And within 3 months, the book had transpired, published, and #1 bestseller. Like, yes.
Wow.
So know that God was in the mix of all of it. And it's not even my full story. It's just all that I can put in and all that he wanted me to put in. And with that transpiring, like I got a 5-book deal and God gave me the title of every last one of them. Like I can go on.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
And you know what, Tracey, guess what? You know that my clean date is July 20th, 2015. Yes. I told you we were connected. Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And I really love how through coronavirus, the Lord is just starting all of
Yes.
this ministry stuff. Like out
Yes.
there, like things might be falling apart, but in the church,
Yes.
we're thriving, birthing ministries,
Yes.
sharing hope. I mean, it's just amazing.
It really truly is. I'm even in the process of finalizing my divorce, and he even gave me a book in reference to my divorce, and that was just like the hardest thing ever I had to go through. Like being married 26 years, together for 24 years, and it wasn't until I left to come, start my journey on recovery that things went chaos within our marriage. And like it was the hardest thing that I had to actually go through, but just out of obedience, God said to me that where I'm taking you, he's not going to fit. So I need you to take the proper precaution to file the divorce. And it was like I was devastated because, like I said, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I was praying for. And then in the long run, here it is, he gives me a book behind it all. And he says to me that the name of that book is going to be Baby Steps. And it's going to be a self-help book helping women in recovery and outside of recovery, knowing that if, they can get through divorce and start all over again. So the plan that he has for my life is to truly prosper me and not
Yes,
to harm me.
absolutely. Always, always, always. Yep. He's
Yes,
always in our heart, searching those deepest
yes,
desires to help those come out, in our life. Awesome.
yes.
That is so great.
Amen.
So tell me
I'm
a
just
little bit about your children.
I have 3 children. I have a 30-year-old, a 28-year-old, and a 26-year-old. And I have 5 grandsons in the midst of all.
Awesome.
And when I tell you, they are truly my heart. And it's so amazing because they didn't give up on me, because they knew what type of mother, they knew me prior to my addiction. So they knew who they saw while I was in my addiction was not their mom. They knew that. And they just never gave up on me. And it was even times where I had experienced some bad dope and I had lost my mind for a long period of time. And when I say I didn't know if I was coming and going, let me tell you, I'm gonna cry just thinking about it, how they didn't, they didn't know what to do with me. But not once did they even, they mentioned of taking her to a psych ward or signing her into a psych ward was on the forefront from other family members, but they said no, because my mom wouldn't do that to us, so we're not going to do that to her. They fed me, they clothed me, they just made sure that I was safe, even to the point where my youngest son would just put me in the car and have me ride around with him because he just didn't know what to do with me. They would take turns with, like, I was just out there and they didn't know. And here it is now, like, oh my God, when I tell you complete restoration, at one point in time, they stopped calling me mom and they started calling me Tracey. Now, when I'm talking to them on the phone, it's like, mom, like they're calling me for advice. And they're like, mom, what we going to do? We're going to push this book. When I tell you, they're like my number one cheerleaders when it comes to this whole recovery. Like, they really, oh my goodness. And then I have my grandbabies right along with me. You can do it, Gammy. You can do it.
Yes. I love that.
Take any credit for that. That was nobody but God, because on July 20th, I was by myself. I didn't have anyone, no one at all. They didn't give up on me, but they had to let me go. They had to let me go, but not once did they give up on me. Because even the first couple of months where it was like really, really, I was struggling, they would still call and check up on me and like, what do you need? Do you need anything? And you can do this, mommy. You can't, don't give up. You can do it. But now when they look at me, it's like sparkles in their eyes. Like, look at my mom. Like, you really did this.
That's so beautiful.
So
That's beautiful.
complete restoration there, complete restoration. And I can't take any credit for it. Oh no. Hello?
Yep, I got you.
Oh,
I got
okay.
you.
Right.
So, okay, Tracey. So before we close out, I just want to know, can you give us the info on how to get your book?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So you can it's oh my goodness, you can go up on Amazon.
Okay.
The title of the book is The Point of No Return.
Okay.
It's on Amazon for $14.95, and then you can either cash app my publishers with She's and Air. It's SHESANHEIR. But yeah, it's yeah. Or you can either do,
Awesome.
what's the other one? PayPal also. But the best way to do it is just go up on Amazon and order it to the point of no return.
By Tracey Lewis. Yes.
Tracey Lee Lewis.
Tracey Lee Lewis. Okay, I'm going to
Tracey.
make sure that I put all of that information in the box so that they can know where to get it and everything. So thank you so much, Tracey.
You're
You
welcome.
guys,
I'll send you the information, and that way
yes,
you can forward it on.
absolutely. Yes, for sure. Because
Yeah,
I'm gonna order one too. I'm so
thank
excited.
you.
I'm
Yeah.
so just so proud of you. Your story is so touching to me,
Uh,
and I can't wait to read it. So thank you so much, Tracey Lewis,
you're
all the
welcome.
way from Long Island, New York,
Yes.
with Teen Challenge Ministries. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Make sure you guys subscribe to Jamie Tall on YouTube for more recovery inspired hope. And thank you so much.